Dr. William Ruto, and the president of the World Bank Group, Ajay Banga, will convene African leaders, development partners, private sector actors, civil society organizations, youth, and other stakeholders. The expected outcome of the summit will be the adoption of the Nairobi Communique. The summit will culminate in the launch of the Coalition for IDA. The Coalition for IDA is a multi-stakeholder movement to support the IDA 21 replenishment. The IDA Coalition launch will amplify the voices coming out of the summit on the vital importance of IDA and its role for Africa. This event will be live on KBC Channel 1 from 8 a.m.
Good evening and welcome to Prime Edition. Tonight, the city is reeling from the devastating effects of floods. Several the estates in Nairobi County stand marooned for the better part of the night, and so many people could not access their jobs. We have details lined up for you in our broadcast tonight, and we'll also tell you about the newly launched jumbo AAA investments in Naivasha, the auction of vehicles, a promise kept, and we'll be telling you about it. And of course, later, our conversation with the Principal Secretary in the Department of Investments Promotion, Abubakar Hassan Abubakar, and we'll be talking about the future of special economic zones, and particularly the launch today by President William Ruto. Welcome to the broadcast. Let's just get right in. Our sign language interpreter is Brian Muraru. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Now, 4 people have lost their lives as a result of flooding in Nairobi County. According to the County Governor Johnson Sakaja, such efforts are ongoing to locate 6 reported missing. In Machakos County, 2 people have died as a result of floods at Kwamangeli slums in Athi River. The floods caused by heavy downpour on Tuesday night left behind a trail of destruction in several parts of the country, rendering several roads impassable. The Kenya Meteorological Department has warned that the heavy rains are expected to continue over several parts of the country.
This was the aftermath of heavy downpour in different parts of the country on Tuesday night. Kibra, Lindi, Mathare 4 and Mathare North, Babadogo, Githurai and Zimmerman were the most affected areas in Nairobi. According to Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, 4 lives have been lost.
Where the structures need to be cleared, they must be cleared, no matter whose it is. And that's why I've thanked those in the informal settlements have been more cooperative. But those higher up in Kileleshwa, in Lavington, in Kilimani, we will just have to use force, unfortunately, because it is about saving lives. Tafadhali msingoje kusongeshwa. Kama pali huko, jana kulinyesha, unafikiri leo ni safe, leo labda mvua itakuwa zaidi.
The county government has embarked on unblocking of drainage systems in all its 17 sub-counties in the city and offering humanitarian aid to over 60,000 people affected by floods. Along Thika Road, travelers were stranded for hours when the Kahawa Sukari section was flooded. Motorists were forced to use the wrong side of the road, leading to a traffic snarl-up that lasted more than 5 hours. The raging floods also rendered a section of Namanga Road impassable after River Athi burst its banks, submerging the only bridge that connects the road to Mombasa Road.
Tumekuja hapa saa 9 usiku. Gari hapa imekunywa maji. Paka saa hii hatujatoka, bado tujalitahidi.
matatizo kwa hata wenye wanaenda class, kama kuna wenye nimepeleka wanachelewa na mtihani, so imetuadhiri sana.
Watu wanateseka sana, maji imefurika, daraja imefunikwa na maji. Tafadhali tunaomba serikali tusaidie.
Mashida watu tumepata leo hatujaipata kwa karibu kama miaka 20 imepita. Inaonekana drainage ya nchi inastahili angaliwe kwa umakinifu sana.
In Athi River Township, a large section was marooned by floods, leaving dozens of families, Kasoito slums, marooned in their homes. Athi River Sub-County Commissioner Patrick Mwangi said the flood claims 2 lives at Kwamangele slums.
Nasikia county naambia watu muhame. Hii kuhama watu wanahama wapi? Ni mzuri kuwa na mikakati mizuri ya tukiambia watu wahame, tunajua wanahamia wapi.
The Kenya Red Cross, that is leading multi-agency rescue operations across the country, says 18 people, 7 of them being children, have been rescued at Mbradi in Mathare 4A Estate in Nairobi. The Kenya Meteorological Department says heavy rains will for the next 5 days continue pounding parts of the highlands east and west of the Rift Valley, the Lake Victoria Basin, the Rift Valley, the southeastern lowlands, the coast, the northwestern and northeastern Kenya. For Prime Edition, I'm Alvin Counder.
And former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Kioria and Marsabit Governor Ali Mohammed have been interrogated and they've been interrogated over the alleged embezzlement of 8.2 billion shillings from Marsabit County Government. Yatani was arrested Wednesday morning by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC detectives. The EACC detectives have also seized computers, documents and 2 safes from the former Treasury CS, which they claim contain crucial documents.
Early Wednesday morning, sleuths from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC carried out a sting operation at the homes and offices of former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Kioria and Marsabit Governor Ali Mohammed.
The Commission conducted operations in properties belonging to the former Governor of Marsabit, that is Kioria, and the current Governor of Marsabit, Mohammed Ali Mohamud, together with the top officials in the county government.
The sleuths are seizing computers, documents and 2 safes in the raids they conducted at Yatani's home and office. While Yatani was picked from his Nairobi home, Mohamud was arrested in Marsabit, the 2 said to have been involved in the alleged embezzlement of 8.2 billion shillings from Marsabit County. One after the other, they were brought to the Integrity Center for questioning, while a similar task was being conducted by detectives in Marsabit, where the governor was taken to EACC's regional offices in Isiolo County to record a statement in regards to the allegations leveled against him.
I know you are aware of cases involving 8.2 billion Kenya shillings. We have another one involving 1.9 billion Kenya shillings, and there are several others that we are yet to compute, but there are allegations of massive looting of public funds in the county government of Marsabit.
However, Siaya Governor James Orengo argues that the former CS and governor were not arrested but came before the commission to assist in investigations.
The governor and the cabinet secretary, Yatani, is not under arrest. He has not been confronted with any charges at all for the entire period we have been here.
Waziri Kioria is here to assist with the investigation, not as a suspect, not as an arrestee.
The 9 suspects, including the former Marsabit governor, that is Kioria, as well as the current one, Ali Mohammed, are expected to appear before the commission once more next week as investigation continues. Abdiaziz Hashim from EACC headquarters in Nairobi County, Prime Edition.
To some sad story now, and the Kenya Air Force held a memorial service at the Moi Air Base in Eastleigh, Nairobi, in honor of 6 soldiers who perished in the helicopter crash last Thursday. Kenya Air Force Commander Major General John Omenda, who led colleagues in paying tribute to the fallen soldiers, expressed confidence that the team of experts appointed to investigate the accident will unravel the cause of the accident that also claimed the life of Kenya's Chief of Defence Forces, General Francis Omondi Ogolla.
Family, friends and colleagues on Wednesday gathered at the Moi Air Base barracks in Eastleigh, Nairobi for the Requiem Mass. Kenya Air Force Commander Major General John Omenda eulogized the deceased soldiers as dedicated, determined and dependable officers.
We pay tribute to our gallant airmen, airwomen and soldiers who lost their lives in the line of duty, serving our great nation. They have paid the ultimate price while in pursuit of peace and security for our country. They have died heroes.
The Air Force Commander saying the Kenya Defence Forces has faith in the team of experts selected to probe the helicopter accident.
I have therefore constituted a team of senior officers who has been tasked to investigate the cause of the crash and give recommendations on how we will improve on our flight safety going forward.
Colonel Duncan Kitani will be buried on Saturday in Eldama Ravine, Baringo County. Major George Benson Magondo will be interned on Saturday in Kieni, Nyeri County. Aide-de-camp to Chief of Defence Forces, Captain Hilary Litali, will also be buried on Saturday in Tongaren, Bungoma County. Senior Sergeant John Murithi will be laid to rest on Friday in Kanyeki, Kirinyaga County. Security aide of the Chief of Defence Forces, Sergeant Clifford Onyango, will be buried on Friday in Lagos, Yaya County. And photographer of the Chief of Defence Forces, Sergeant Rose Nyawira, will be laid to rest on Thursday in Kagio in Kirinyaga County. Kenya Air Force Commander has eulogized the 6 fallen gallant soldiers as heroes of the Kenya Air Force, the Kenya Defence Forces and the country at large, saying their service to the nation will be remembered. Give us in mind, Prime Edition, Moi Air Base, Eastleigh, Nairobi.
And may the souls of our heroes continue to rest in peace. Let's move us towards economic growth. And President William Ruto says Kenya's journey to becoming a global industrial powerhouse is on course. The head of state says a heightened investor confidence is attracting substantial foreign and local investments and elevating the country's industrial agenda. He spoke during the official opening of the Jumbo Africa Auto Auction Limited at the Naivasha Special Economic Zones, the first of its kind, where Kenyans and citizens of East African region will participate in auctions twice a month using the Kenya shilling instead of a US dollar. At the Naivasha Special Economic Zone launched in January this year, the Jumbo Africa Auto Auction Limited, located at the Naivasha Special Economic Zones, is opening its doors to customers intending to sell or buy vehicles. President William Ruto, while presiding over the launch, expressed confidence in Kenya's journey to becoming a global industrial powerhouse.
A year and a half ago, when we were in Nakuru County, many people were in doubt as to whether this industrial city would be a reality. I think we can confidently tell them today we meant what we said, we've kept our word, and the first investor has opened doors in Naivasha.
The head of state says the Special Economic Zones program is aimed at increasing employment, growing exports, enhancing supply and boosting Kenya's foreign exchange earnings.
Those who follow international events will record that last year Kenya was rated as the best investment destination in 2024. And so that you know that that is not just a story, before the end of this year, yet another vehicle assembler will be in this zone. They are already concluding paperwork to make sure that we will start producing electric vehicles here in Naivasha.
As we look forward to having more investors, to working together in making the ease of doing business really a reality, and making sure that we attract more investors to make sure that your vision of industrializing Kenya becomes a reality.
We as a ministry, we are determined to meticulously and flawlessly execute the plan of His Excellency the President so that we can achieve his economic transformation agenda.
Being the first Japanese car auction facility in Africa, buyers will purchase vehicles using the Kenya shilling rather than the US dollar.
I know some very good work has gone on with the dollar, but you may not even need to use the dollar in this facility. So with your Kenya shilling, you don't have to struggle with finding out what the exchange rate is. Further, competitive bidding will guarantee lower prices, enhancing the savings that buyers will accrue compared with traditional purchasing and car importation processes.
The first time in this country, I don't remember any other sector, we will be trading in Kenyan shillings. So our neighbors, the African countries, have to look for Kenyan shillings for them to buy a vehicle here.
Later, President Ruto broke ground for the construction of 1,000 affordable housing units at the Special Economic Zone. That story will be forming the basis of our conversation later on tonight. PS Abubakar Hassan Abubakar of the State Department for Investments Promotion is with us tonight and will expound a bit on the contribution of Special Economic Zones Authority. But that is a little bit later. For now, we take a breather. We'll be back in a minute.
The government of Kenya, in partnership with the World Bank Group, will host the International Development Association, IDA, for Africa Heads of State Summit on April 29, 2024. The summit, to be held at Kenyatta International Convention Center, Nairobi, will identify key priorities for development financing in Africa and champion an ambitious financing replenishment of IDA resources, or IDA 21. IDA 21 will support transformational development objectives for the Africa region. The high-level summit hosted by the President of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, and the President of the World Bank Group, Ajay Banga, will convene African leaders, development partners, private sector actors, civil society organizations, youth, and other stakeholders. The expected outcome of the summit will be the adoption of the Nairobi Communique. The summit will culminate in the launch of the Coalition for IDA. The Coalition for IDA is a multi-stakeholder movement to support the IDA 21 replenishment. The IDA Coalition launch will amplify the voices coming out of the summit on the vital importance of IDA and its role for Africa. This event will be live on KBC Channel 1 from 8 a.m.
Tumewakumbuka. Kenya Revenue Authority is writing off penalties and interest on outstanding tax debt for tax periods up to 31st December 2022. Act now. Pay off your outstanding tax debt in easy installments by 30th June 2024 and watch those penalties and interests vanish. Scan the QR code or visit the KRA website for guidelines on how to apply. You can also call us on 0711 099 999 or visit any of the nearest KRA offices. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to set your tax records right. Anza upya na KRA Tax Amnesty. Kenya Revenue Authority. Tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Welcome to Sensei Institute. Mahali skills zangu ni pesa mkononi. At Sensei College, practical skills is the definition. Accredited by the government and founded on a Christian background, Sensei College offers all-rounded programs that are tailor-made to enhance your skills and give you the future you desire. We offer courses such as interior design, fashion and design, hairdressing and beauty, hospitality courses, trailer driving and defensive driving, building construction technology, CCTV, solar and electrical installation, photography and video production, electronic courses, vehicle electronics and mechanic courses, agricultural mechanics, ICT, and many more. To enroll in any of our campuses in Nairobi and Nakuru, all you need is your national ID card. Mapema do best. Take advantage of our monthly intake. Come to kusort na skills. Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Multi bonus. Zidisha ushindi wako hadi 1,000 na multi bonus 1,000%. Kuwa mshindi. Mozartbet.
Third-party insurance is mandatory under the law. It covers death or bodily injury to passengers, death or bodily injury to pedestrians, and damage to third-party property. Third-party policy does not cover the loss or damage by fire, theft, and accident to the vehicle. It also does not cover the owner of the vehicle and the driver. Consider taking a personal accident to cover driver and owner of the vehicle. Motor vehicle insurance cover is not transferable. When you sell your vehicle, remember to cancel your policy. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. Bima bora kwa taifa.
Welcome back. You're watching the Prime Edition. Now, the National Assembly has begun considering the amendments to the electoral system as proposed by the National Dialogue Committee. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill 2024 is part of the pieces of legislation formulated to implement some of the amendments in the NATCO report. Some of the amendments include the members of the selection panel increased from 79 for a broader representation of interest groups. It also caps the term limit of the CEO to 3 years, as well as sets clear procedures for the delimitation of electoral units. The bill also sets ICT and accounting professional qualifications as mandatory for members appointed as commissioners. The bill, once enacted, will avert avenues or will open avenues to recruit new commissioners.
Right now, we are including expanding the panel, which is a good thing. One, to be more inclusive, and two, to also have the voice of the political players, which is a good thing. But that is not enough, Madam Speaker. I will go back again to the issue that we need to change our own mindset as individuals and think about the legacy we want to leave in this country for our children.
Honorable Speaker, this bill has been awaited for by many Kenyans and more so those who are in the political circles and those constituencies that lost their members of parliament or any other electoral positions and who have not been given a chance to have elections held in those areas.
I welcome the change that has been made now, the amendment to define who the chairperson is. This is in tandem with Article 250, and it also aligns with the Katiba Institute case, which clearly said no other person can be chairperson. And one more minute, and I think on the issue of enlargement of the panel, it makes sense, and I support that particular amendment.
To the corridors of justice, the Asset Recovery Authority is seeking orders from the court to compel former Migori County Governor Okoth Obado to return some 73.4 million shillings that was allegedly siphoned from the county through fictitious tendering. The authority says in an application filed before the Anti-Corruption Court that the monies were paid to proxies who are believed to be associated with Obado.
In court documents, the authority argues huge monies were paid from Migori County bank accounts, which benefited his children and close relatives. The authority further points out that 34 million Kenya shillings were removed from the county government and used to purchase a house in Loresho, Nairobi County, and luxury motor vehicles. Some 16 companies, according to the authority, did not win tenders on merit, but were given contracts by the county government. The monies received by those companies went on to benefit the governor and his children, who he paid school fees at different universities in the United Kingdom. When the case came up for hearing before Justice Esther Maina, the court was informed that the parties were negotiating to have the matter settled. The judge directed that the court should be shown a draft of the ongoing negotiations and that the case be mentioned on 6th May 2024. Ruth Wamboy for Prime Edition.
And human rights organizations have regretted the confirmed continued extrajudicial killings in the country, despite a slight reduction in numbers recorded in the year 2023. The number of quote-unquote enforced disappearances also dropped by more than half to 10 over the same period.
Wednesday morning at Heinrich Ball Foundation in Nairobi, a group of human rights defenders organizations came together under the theme End Police Impunity. The humanitarian organizations led by Amnesty International Kenya, in a report released on Wednesday, appreciated a reduction in the number of extrajudicial killings recorded in the year 2023.
So in 2023, there were 118 persons who were unlawfully killed, and that compared to 130 in 2022 means a drop of about 9.2%.
Penina Kome, a victim of extrajudicial killing, says our deal in seeking justice.
IJM walinishika mkono na ipoa, tukatembea hiyo safari ya miaka 6 na mwisho nikaweza kupata justice, jambo ambalo sikuwa natarajia.
The group, however, says even though the number has reduced by 9%, cases of extrajudicial killing still occur.
Katiba ya Kenya hairuhusu mauaji ya mtu yeyote, ila inakubali ya kwamba kama mtu amekosa apelekwe katika koti ili koti ndio itaamua.
The families require even psychosocial support so that they are able to be cancelled.
They now want the Independent Policing Oversight Authority to fast-track the pending extrajudicial cases and the disbanded Internal Affairs Unit in the police service reinstated to hold errant police accountable.
With the release of the 2023 extrajudicial enforced disappearance, it has proved a level of success in the concerted advocacy intervention. Opicho Chemtai for Prime Edition.
School fees burden and the high cost of uniforms continue to hamper the quest for education for a section of secondary school learners in the country. This is according to the latest survey conducted by the civil society organization Usawa Agenda. The survey findings, released Wednesday, revealed parents with children in 43.6% of secondary schools sampled cannot afford to buy their children school uniforms due to financial constraints.
Usawa Agenda interviewed principals in over 1,300 schools in all 47 counties between July and August 2023 to establish factors that contribute to inequities within the education system. According to the findings, the students in sub-county and county schools failed to attend classes for lack of fees. Additionally, the average price of a set of school uniforms is more than 5,000 shillings, an amount deemed as costly to majority of parents.
We have skewed the way we have distributed our resources in the education sector in favor of the big schools, the national schools, and to the disadvantage of the smaller ones, which are educating majority of the children in the country and remain marginalized, under-resourced, underfunded, and also understaffed.
We have so many other issues. Probably even the report might also have brought out. We still have the issue of insecurities in so many parts of the country. The parents are suffering their children. The issues of floods, they are still there right now. Some secondary schools cannot be accessed even during examination time.
The survey also revealed that only 20% of sub-county schools are equipped with laboratories compared to 90% of national schools. On gender and equity in the management of schools, 15% of schools were found to have female chairs on their boards of management.
I think there are issues of prioritization, but there are also issues of just resource and making sure that we show the need.
So you can imagine
Schools are supposed to run. Students are supposed to, have books. They're supposed to have whatever that capitation is supposed to fund. And we have never reached beyond 60% in giving that capitation.
Meanwhile, the stakeholders in the education sector are calling for the establishment of a community outreach program to spearhead the promotion of national unity and culture of community service. During the first day of the inaugural annual competence-based assessment symposium in Nairobi, they also proposed the realignment of the CBC pathway to the new constitution.
That's one of the reasons we are having this continuous assessment through the competency-based assessment, so that nobody will ever tell us again that, in this school we have finished the curriculum for secondary education in Form 3, and in Form 4 we are simply revising.
We are going to do a major pilot across the whole country in all the 47 counties in the month of June, so that by the end of this academic year, around October, all the schools can get sample papers of what to expect.
The three-day symposium is organized by the Kenya National Examination Council under the theme Shaping the Future of Education, Nurturing Every Learner's Potential Through Competence-Based Assessment. For Prime Edition, I'm Joseph Ohungu.
Sisi ya kungoja kwenye star 570 hash kuna ploti na ni up to 1.1 million Kenyan shillings with a genuine title deed na inakungoja. Star 570 hash, buka na sake.
Olegario, I see you're a very successful man. You practically have all that a person may want in life. Tell me.
Take the reins once and for all. Live your own life. Can't you see that the man loves you? He's always after you.
Yes, but then...
To clear the air with him, is that so hard to do?
Mr. Olegario, where is my daughter? Huh? What did you do with her? What did you do with Amparo?
Daddy, where's Ruben? What did you do to him, Daddy? How is he?
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Amparo!
Come on in me, so me see now, I can't get. Try not to make it me, can't make. Never lost my way, never see the icon get confused. People country Jamaica, no know how we live things. Say everything nice, do it full of vibes and things. Them same one feel it to them heart when them get few understand the real thing. Yeah, the day at town one day, I far with a white man will come all the way from Norway.
I'm sorry, but I'm leaving you. You never should have made me cry. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving you. And I'm never coming back again. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving you.
Welcome back. A Kenyan woman has gone to the High Court to fight for custody over her grandson, who has a dual Kenyan and US citizenship. Whereas senior resident magistrate Festus Terrell dismissed her plea on grounds that both parents are alive and capable of taking care of the child. The grandmother insists it would be in the best interest of a child to be placed under her custody. Sarafina Robi probed a legal mind on these interests, the wishes of a child, and other pertinent rulings that could upset the norm, rather could upset the norm and tilt the scale in the granny's favor.
Street court ruling that 7-year-old boy be taken to the United States for a decision on custodial case did not go down well with the child's mother and grandmother. The granny argued that she has been raising her grandson for 4 years after his American father allegedly split with the Kenyan mother of the child. The mother then returned to Kenya and sought the help of her mother, now the child's grandmother, in raising him. Given that the child's biological parents are still alive, senior resident magistrate Festus Terrell dismissed the grandmother's claim to be the one with the capacity to raise him.
There are many factors to look at. Number one, is it that the father had left the child and then now has come back? okay, and now is demanding to have custody of the child. And at that point, then the court needs to look at, is it really in the best interest to give this child to the father who was not there before, but has suddenly come back into the picture, okay? It could be the court says that, maybe the custody is going to be, the arrangement is going to be transitional in that the grandmother has the child for a certain number of years as they build the bond with the father. Then after a certain period of time, the child is going to be allowed to go and stay with the father. But if the father wasn't in the picture, he can't just walk into the child's life and demand to have the child in his care if all along he was not present. The child has formed a bond with the grandmother. The grandmother is the familiar environment.
Family lawyer Ivy Gavongo, however, says mediation would help in avoiding prolonged and bitter court battles.
You will find that there are people who are what I'd call third parties, who are not necessarily the biological parents of the children, who are allowed to seek for custody of a child. The court can't favor both of you, but with mediation, both of you are compromising and getting what is workable for both of you.
The matter will be heard on the 26th of April before High Court Judge Hilary Chimitai. Serafina Ruby for Prime Edition.
To business now, the National Cereals and Produce Board has started compensating farmers who bought substandard or subsidized fertilizer. Affected farmers are required to lodge formal complaints by filing a claim declaration form at the depot or selling center where they bought the subsidized fertilizer.
Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi early this month directed farmers affected by the substandard subsidized fertilizer and those who purchased from suspended companies to be compensated adequately before rain season ends.
Make sure that farmers do not run costs which really were not contemplated within their budgets, and we'll be able to work out a formula and see how we can really indemnify our farmers.
The CS also warned that the National Treasury will hold on to payments from suspended fertilizer producers until the farms compensate farmers.
Because we have also not paid the money for the supplies. I still have money that was meant to go or to be paid to him.
To kickstart the compensation process, the National Cereals and Produce Board is advising affected farmers to lodge formal complaints by filing a claim declaration form that will be provided at the depot or selling center where they bought the fertilizer. The National Cereals and Produce Board is asking farmers with fertilizer from the suspended companies to present their original national ID cards and evidence of purchase, including exhibits where applicable to NCPB depots or any selling center where they made their purchase. In the case of farmers who procured and have not utilized the fertilizer, they are required to return the product to NCPB stores and be issued with equivalent amount of planting fertilizer. The National Cereals and Produce Board says it has so far distributed 3 million bags of planting and 300,000 top dressing fertilizer for the 2024 long range season to registered farmers. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Effective e-waste management took center stage at the ongoing Connected Africa Summit with Paul Wawero, an innovator showcasing an innovation that repurposes discarded electronic waste, ranging from laptops to simple items that beauty kits the items like beauty kits into functional power banks applicable in lighting and even e-mobility. Trevor Ngendo caught up with him and filed the following report.
With the rapid pace in technological advancement, electronic devices are being discarded at an alarming rate. In Kenya, data shows that electronic waste is the fastest growing waste component, with an estimated 51,300 metric tons being generated annually. So how can we leverage technology and creativity among the youth to address this most pressing environmental concern?
Paul Wawero, a physicist and teacher by profession, draws on his expertise acquired from Kenyatta University to repurpose various materials from electronic waste and customize them into functional gadgets.
It's capable of providing light for study. So this essentially would be popular with school-going children. The Comobila Smart Battery here can be able to power what we call alternating current devices, like the shaving machines. So essentially, this has an inbuilt inverter that will be in a position to convert the DC into AC. This was a beauty kit. This plastic container was a beauty kit. So essentially all that means for makeups and all those things. But then we were able to repurpose and recycle it and customize it so that it can house all those things. We want to reach the underprivileged. The mamambogas can do their businesses without worrying about power.
Beyond its practical utility, Waweru says this e-waste solution has become a source of employment for collectors.
We have guys who do this as a business, so they collect electronic waste and they sell them to e-waste recyclers. So guys and individuals who are in the business of recycling, repurposing, renovating electronic waste. For the sourcing especially, because here we are for the power banks, and now we have ventured into retrofitting of border borders. We have individuals who go out to collect these batteries from those collection sites. So we are able to source from different places.
Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition, Nairobi.
Leaders in the healthcare and insurance sector are calling for a new approach to healthcare delivery by the utilization of technology to simplify, connect data and establish a new model that proactively addresses challenges in healthcare. MTIBA Managing Director Pieter Pickert backs the use of technology to develop innovative, affordable and personalized solutions.
Leaders in the healthcare and insurance sector believe data connectivity has the potential to offer a comprehensive understanding of patient journey, treatment paths, and health outcomes. By consolidating data points across the healthcare system, it equips healthcare professionals with the necessary information to enhance patients' outcome, simplify admin, and minimize costs.
In addition, I think for insurance companies, it means that the connection with the individual means that there's real-time customer feedback and real-time data insights, which allow insurance companies to make sure that their clients can be served better.
Speaking at the Digital Pulse CEO's Roundtable event in Nairobi, industry leaders said embracing innovation allows healthcare facilities and insurance to drive smarter processes, enhance efficiency, and elevate the overall customer experience.
We are at a point where we have to operate as an ecosystem, connecting all the players so that the patients ultimately benefit from the work that we do.
They say technological advancements such as artificial intelligence are essential tools for overcoming operational challenges and driving growth within the healthcare sector.
As an insurer or a health insurer, that you may not have all the expertise around AI, for example. So let's be open to finding partnerships or people who are experts in those kind of solutions.
They believe connected data enables healthcare providers to access comprehensive information about patients, including health records, medications, reported symptoms, medical visits and hospitalizations, providing insights into patients' health, journeys and risk factors. Edna Murungi for Prime Edition.
And the Nissan Group is on a mission to shower up the customer base in Africa by 30% by the end of 2024. The group's managing director, Machik Klenkwiz, who was in the Kenya Machakos County, says the company is banking on Nissan during Africa 2024 expedition to have customers in the continent adopt the new Nissan Navara model launched last month in South Africa. The excursion kicked off in South Africa and will end in Egypt, having traversed Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, and Kenya.
That marketing strategy shows only, we can count it at the number of cars, but we can also count it with the number of happy customers and also customers who are getting an interest in the brand. So Navara is our pillar for the brand growth in Africa. So we'll continue a successful story for the LCV. We are selling a lot of Navaras already. So in countries which we had on the way, like Zimbabwe, we noticed already a 30% increase on the daily order take.
Yes. You have his eyes.
He does not know you're here.
But true, Louis cannot harm Mr. Cake.
You think?
That will be breaking the law.
How do you think J&J was built?
Alice, if anything happens to me,
You'll what?
I will hound you from 6 feet under.
You had only one job, George.
Wacha kunichekesha hivyo, my ribs still hurts.
You should be grateful that's the only part of your body that hurts.
1 minute tulikuwa na yeye. The next minute ametoka nje. I didn't know you were coming back today.
Nah, I just came in to hand in my resignation letter. If it is about the salary, I can talk to your boss. Not really. It's not about the pay.
Alice really convinced you, huh?
It doesn't look like a very good day for J&J.
He's not alone.
Uko sure kuna Ronald?
Nani mwingine amequit?
Will you tell him or should I, Ronald?
Huyo Kaikara amekuthreaten na nini?
Back to the future. The future is simulate. Bet smarter. Win faster now. Be a winner. More at Bet.
Yes. You have his eyes.
He does not know you're here.
But true, Louis cannot harm Mr. Cake.
You think?
That will be breaking the law.
How do you think J&J was built?
Alice, if anything happens to me,
You'll what?
I will hound you from 6 feet under.
You had only one job, George.
Wacha kunichekesha hivyo, my ribs still hurts.
You should be grateful that's the only part of your body that hurts.
1 minute tulikuwa na yeye. The next minute ametoka nje. I didn't know you were coming back today.
Nah, I just came in to hand in my resignation letter. If it is about the salary, I can talk to your boss. Not really. It's not about the pay.
Alice really convinced you, huh?
It doesn't look like a very good day for J&J.
He's not alone.
Uko sure kuna Ronald?
Nani mwingine amequit?
Will you tell him or should I, Ronald?
Huyo Kaikara amekuthreaten na nini?
Sports News is brought to you by Mozart Bet.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. The national under-20 rugby team Chipu won their second successive match after beating Tunisia 56-17 during the ongoing rugby under-20 Bartes Trophy at Harare Sports Club in Zimbabwe. After failing to an early try from Tunisia, Kenya rallied from behind to equalize through Ido Kuta's converted try before Michael Wamala fired Chipu ahead to give them a lead. Alvin Akoli scored 2 tries to hand Kenya a 26-5 halftime lead. On resumption, Michael Wamalwa and Bramwell Naikea, Willie Tino and Brian Schiller touched down once each to hand Kenya the emphatic win. Kenya beat Namibia in the opening match and will face defending champions and hosts Zimbabwe in their final round-robin match on Sunday. The team with a higher number of points will clinch the championship, and the winner of the 4-team tournament will qualify for the World Rugby Under-20 Trophy in Scotland that is scheduled for July.
Over. It looks like he's gotten it down. Yes, he has. That is, of course, the man who has done the... Again, it's an 8-9 pick and go. Well, oh my word! What a run!
Drive.
Now looking for those shadow runs, but immediately caught up by Wainaina. And there comes out to number 22, and this one surely is going to be try time.
And top international sharpshooters are expected in the country for the Euro Africa Level 4 Tier 3 Championships, which will be held in Mombasa. Bamburi Rifle Shooting Club will be the venue of the Global Championship slated for the 25th to the 27th of April.
The Euro Africa Level 4 Tier 3 Shooting Championships has attracted more than 200 participants, consisting of disciplined forces, civilians and foreigners from Slovenia, USA, Sweden, Russia and South Africa, among others.
It's a level 4 type of competition. It is called Tier 4. It is a sanctioned match by the headquarters, which is in USA, IDP headquarters, which is in USA. And for you to attend a sanctioned match, you have to meet a threshold of 200 shooters to hold that kind of event.
Addressing during rehearsal ahead of the championship, Bamburi Rifle Shooting Club chairman Abdul Hakim Daud confirmed the event has a big turnout of foreigners compared to the other years. The foreigners started arriving in the country from today. The International Defensive Piston Association Championship is taking place for the third time in the country, and about 120 discipline officers will be participating.
We have so many teams, law enforcement teams. We have DCI, we have Kenya Prisons, we have KWS here, we have Kenya KPS, Kenya Police Service, including the ASTU and DCI ATPU team.
Join Abwile for Prime Edition.
Now, Prisons Kenya player Peter Kibata was named the Libero Player of the Tournament at the Africa Volleyball Club Championships in Egypt. Kibata won on the award for the first time and was instrumental for Prisons Kenya, who settled for a bronze medal in the continental event. The Dennis Mokua-led Waters had dispatched compatriots Kenya Ports Authority 3-1 in the quarters, but lost to defending champions of Morocco in straight sets. In the bronze medal match, Prisons came from a set down to dispatch Al Nassr of Libya to win 3-2 as the other two sides, KPA and Equity Bank, finished 7th and 11th respectively. Kenya's Simon Kipkorir, who plays for Mludia, was named the best opposite player. And the Kenya National Paralympics Committee has picked a squad of 13 athletes that will compete at the 2024 World Para-Athletics Championship scheduled for May from the 17th to the 25th of May in Kobe, Japan. The team of 9 men and 4 women will have 3 guides and 4 coaches. The World Para-Athletics Championships is the final athletics qualifier event ahead of the 2024 Paris Paralympic Games. 7 Kenya para-athletes have so far qualified for the Paralympics in Paris in 4 disciplines, namely athletics, cycling, taekwondo and rowing. Out of the 7 qualifiers, 3 are from athletics. That's Nancy Chelagat in the 1500 T11, who is Kenya's sole medalist from the 2020 Tokyo Paralympics. Mary Waithera in the 1500 meters women T11, and Wesley Sang in the men's 1500 meters T46. And that's the sport for tonight. Have a good evening. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to John Jacob Kioria, and today he is with the Principal Secretary, State Department for Investment Promotion, Hassan Abubakar, and the focus is on Kenya's special economic zones. Over to you, Kioria.
Sports News was brought to you by Mozart Bet. You can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Rightly points it out that tonight we're hosting PS Abubakar, Hassan Abubakar. He's in charge of investments promotion. This is not the first time we're seeing him on KBC. He's become our regular. And PS, thank you very much for honoring us with your time. I know you've had a very tedious journey from where you are out of the country. This morning you were at Naivasha, where the president was launching that project of the special economic zone. And thank you very much for honoring us with your presence. Let's begin with the role of special economic zones in Kenya's investment agenda.
All right, thank you, John. You know, when this administration came into office, we were faced with 3 economic deficits.
Just hold a bit so that we check your microphone. But as is, this morning, President William Ruto was at the Naivasha Special Economic Zones. That was launched in January. And part of a promise that the president made really was for the establishment of a vehicle auction. And 3 months later, we have the vehicle auction, the Jumbo Africa auto auction that was launched today by President William Ruto in the presence of a Principal Secretary, Abubakar Hassan Abubakar, who also joins us this evening. PS, you were telling us about the significance of special economic zones in the investment agenda that the country has, yes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as I said, there were 3 economic deficits which needed to be transformed. The first one is the savings investment deficit, and then the fiscal deficit, and the balance of payment deficit. For us to transform this deficit, we need investments. And investments can be either public investment or private investment. In the public investment space, we are talking of taxation, which we are not optimally taxed because our percentage of taxes, a percentage of GDP is very low. But the next source of public investment is a borrowing, which we know that we are highly leveraged, and our agenda is to, when you are in a hole, you stop digging. So what is happening right now is just the hole is digging itself, but we had to stop digging that hole. And thirdly, is through public-private partnership or privatization, so that you can be able to raise resources to fund our commitments. But the fifth way of mobilizing is through private investment direct. For this private investment to flow, it needs to be attracted, it needs to be incentivized, it needs to be de-risked, it needs to be facilitated, it needs to be enabled. And so that special economic zone is an investment attraction tool. Yeah, that it is in our State Department. The President has given us a tool in our investment promotion toolkit to attract investment into the Kenyan economy.
Okay, so hold on though, PS. We need to take a short breather so that we check your mic once more. Yeah, it's still not picking, so we're taking a breather, a very short breather, then we come back.
Try not to make it me, can't make. Never lost my way. Never see the icon get confused. People come to Jamaica and not know how we live things. Say everything nice to it, full of vibes and things. Them same one feel it to them heart when them get few understand the real thing. Yeah, the day at town one day, I far with a white man will come all the way from Norway. I'm sorry.
Someone please pour some cold water on it.
Life can be very busy, but everyone deserves a laugh.
I have a billion you can be a lily funny guy.
We inject humor in your week's activities with episodes of Classmates.
You need to see this.
Camaraderie, mischief, and everything in between. To keep you smiling all week long.
I have a few minutes of Bordeaux, so why not?
Tune in to KBC Channel 1 every Monday to Friday at 6:30 p.m. for a daily dose of comedy.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Una maana kwamba alipoumia kwa kampuni yako hukujua ameumia?
Angekuja waniripotie. Ulikuja kuniambia?
Niliumia, yeye ndiye alisema alitisha ambulance nikapeleka hospitali.
Huyu.
Nani?
Wewe unasikia vile anaongea?
Bismillah, mbona wewe danganye? Mbona mimi amwambia wewe maneno ya bana yangu? Waacha mrongo yako bana.
So, you are nothing, si ndio?
Yes, you are nothing. He called the Kuls and Kamal and Singira us.
Ni sawa mzee, nishasikia nishaelewa.
So then the Kuls wanted to kill us.
Nimesikia. Wewe.
Are we together mpaka there?
We apologize for that sound hiccup that impeded the start of the interview with the PS Hassan Abubakar Hassan. But nevertheless, we are back. Let's pick up the conversation from where we stopped. And PS, you were telling us the importance of special economic zones to the investment agenda of the Republic. Go ahead.
Correct.
Yes.
First of all, investment 001, whenever there is a challenge, it's an investment opportunity. So I can see there's an investment opportunity in your sound system for people to invest in. But back to our agenda.
Yes.
I was saying that there are three economic deficits that as a government we are trying to transform. That is the fiscal deficit, the saving to investment deficit, and the balance of payment deficit as far as our balance of trade. And that needs investment, which can either be public or private. When you talk about public investment, it's about the tax, which are where we are not optimally taxed as Kenyans, and we're talking about also borrowing, which we as a matter of fact, we have been leveraged and we have stopped digging. What is happening right now is that the hole is just digging itself. And the third way of raising public finance or public resources for public investment is through privatization of state-owned entities. And the fourth way is through public-private partnership. But there's the fifth way, which is strictly private sector, is direct private investment. And for this private investment to flow, it needs to be attracted, it needs to be incentivized, it needs to be de-risked, it needs to be enabled, and it needs to be facilitated. And that is why there is this special economic zone program. It's an investment attraction tool to attract investors into that zone, because that zone is a geographical area within our country, which is outside the custom control area. The zone has fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. The business regulations there are relaxed. The taxation regime is also favorable. We also have world-class infrastructure supporting the zone. We have market access for that zone. But most importantly, when investors set up there, they benefit from the economies of agglomeration, where they are being clustered together, plus the value chain integration. So it attracts investors because it reduces their cost of production.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us about particularly the Jumbo African Auto Auction.
Yes.
It's a promise kept by the president. He made the promise in January.
Yes.
But what does this venture mean, particularly for Naivasha and the country at large? Yeah.
First of all, it's a promise fulfilled. So when the president promises something, he fulfills. He said it in January, that by April it will happen, and it has happened. But what it means, basically, whatever we do according to our manifesto, it must have the 6 impact parameters. Does it reduce hunger? Does it create jobs? Does it reduce cost of living? Does it expand our tax base? Does it increase our export base? And does it help in our foreign exchange balance? So this investment, it means that it creates jobs for our youth, but also it means that because that is an African auction, and it is there to serve the East African region and Africa, by extension Africa. So it will help in our export base, but most importantly is about managing the foreign exchange earnings, where people will not be looking for dollars to import cars. They will just do it in Kenya shilling. So that's what it means.
You talk about stopping digging the hole, but of course to stop digging the hole, the special economic zones must operate optimally.
Yes.
What are the deliberate interventions by government, and particularly your State Department, to ensure that special economic zones in the Republic are operating optimally?
I think His Excellency the President has directed and given us instruction to do 3 things for the special economic zone to perform optimally. One is to make sure that the zones are competitive, globally competitive, to be able to attract the investments. Yeah? So we have been looking at our legal framework, and in the Finance Act of 2023, we have improved our competitiveness, and also right now we have comprehensively done our legal framework. We have overhauled it to enhance that competitive edge. But 2, we need to operationalize the zone. Many zones have been gazetted, but they have not been operationalized for investors. So the President has been pushing us to say that we need to operationalize these zones, and you can see the Naivasha Special Economic Zone was operationalized in January, and those investors who are admitted, the first investor is already also operational and started creating jobs for our youth. But thirdly, it's also about resolving a challenge in our national investment policy, One of the challenge is the limited industrial space. You know, for our economic growth, one of the principles of our economic growth is industrial growth. For us to grow industrially, we need to build our industrial base. For us to get our industrial base, we need to increase our industrial spaces. But industrial spaces were limited. Yeah, in fact, obvious industries were just concentrated in Nairobi, 85%. So it seems that the president, in his national industrialization agenda, had asked us to expand. To expand that, and you can see he had asked us to gazette 5 more. For example, in the EPZ program, we only had 1 EPZ in Athi River, which has been developed. Yeah. Now we have 5 more. One in Kirinyaga, the other one is in Murang'a, the other one is on Nasingishu, another one is in Nakuru. Right? So he has budgeted, he has given us money, 3 billion to develop those zones, and in the next 6 months, we believe that those zones will also be operational.
Very interesting. Going back to Naivasha, because today the president launched a housing program under the special economic zones. Yes. We have Jumbo AAA auctioning cars there. The other question is, when do we expect other investors to take up the incentives the government has offered at the special economic zone and start operating from within the zone?
His Excellency the President, he was very clear today that the next investors you will see is on the manufacturing of or assembly of electric vehicles. So we have built a pipeline. Yeah, we have built a pipeline. We have through our investment outreach, investment mission, and investment roadshows. We have long-listed investors and short-listed them. We are now screening them. So we are expecting in the next 3 years. For this year, we'll be able to onboard an electric vehicle assembler, but we are also targeting investment in our priority value chain, like in the leather products, in the textile and apparel, in the pharmaceutical. All those in the next 3 to 4 years, we are committing to fill up that zone. And there's confidence in filling up the zone because the president has added us 5,000 more acres because we had only 1,000. But because we had a plan, we are going to fill up the zone in the next 5 years. He has added up another 5.
When you mention CESA and EPZ, of course, they sound different. But when you go to special economic zones and the full meaning of EPZ, there appears to be a lot of confusion around CESA and EPZ. As a State Department, what are you doing to create a difference in the minds of Kenyans that these are two probably collaborative but distinct jobs?
So it's good to understand the history. First, it started with an EPZ program from 1990s. It was very effective, and it is a program used to attract industrial investment, which was export-oriented, right? And at that time, there was no East African bloc. Yes. So if you export to Tanzania, if you sell to Tanzania, it was considered an export. Yeah? And you were supposed to sell local only 20. You are allowed to sell locally only 20%. But with the East African region, with 6 countries, now 8, the 20% is very thin. You can see now the 20% which is local, it does not make sense for an investor. That is 1. 2, people were also complaining that the goods which were sold or manufactured there, why are they not being sold into our country? And also the goods which are manufactured there, they are not using our raw materials. Yeah? So there's no backward integration. So there was a need, and a strategic decision was made to have a special economic zone program so that we can enhance the backward integration. So the difference between the two is threefold. One is on the eligible activities. In the EPZ program, we are just limited. It's only manufacturing and maybe services. But in SEZ, we have many activities that can happen. We allowed economic activities to happen in the SEZ program. The second difference is about their fiscal incentives. The fiscal is a bit different. For example, the corporate tax is 0 in the EPZ, and in the SEZ is 10. But the third one is about the market access. So in EPZ, you can only export 100 and only sell local 10%. And for SEZ, you can export 100 and also sell to the domestic market for 100. Okay, so there's a confusion. People are saying that there's a confusion. So what we have done as government is, the President has directed us to recognize that one NPZ is a scheme under SEZ. So when he mentions SEZ, it also includes EPZ.
Oh, EPZ is a scheme within the special
SEZ, yes,
economic
and there's a cabinet approval on the same. That is in the immediate. In the short term to medium term, we are going to merge these entities, so that will be one entity with two programs. One is on EPZ program, and the other one is on SEZ program.
Does it mean then that the EPZs will also be under the authority of a Special Economic Zones Authority, SEZ?
For now. No, for now is a
Okay.
recognition. You are just recognized as a scheme in the SEZ. They will operate under their own institutional and legal framework, but in the medium term, on the short term, we're going to merge. There will be only one legal framework, one entity with two directorates.
The industrial, or rather the green industrialization agenda, how are the special economic zones taking that up? And for example, Naivasha, for example, because it's one of the operational special economic zones, how are they picking up that agenda?
Naivasha, we are packaging Naivasha as an eco-industrial park, and we are leveraging on the geothermal power, because that park is powered by 100% geothermal, so it's green. Yeah, in fact, that park, as I had said in the morning, is the most attractive park from the south of Sahara through the north of Limpopo to the end of Nile. So that is what we are packaging it, and we are working closely with IFC to come up with eco legal framework for the same.
At this moment, PS, because the SEZs are not operating optimally, and of course you've revealed to us the plan by the President and yourselves to expand it across the country. The areas you mentioned, Moranga, you've mentioned Kirinyaga, Uasin Gishu.
Yes.
Are these the only areas you're targeting in the meantime?
For now, we have 5 more EPZs in addition to the one. But in the next financial year, once they are fully developed, we are going to develop in other areas, depending on the feasibility studies and the market demand, because an investment must make returns. But going back to the green industrialization agenda, you know, at COP28, His Excellency the President has committed to champion the green industrialization agenda, right? And as one way of de-risking investment in the greening space, we as a country now, we have a vehicle with the help of World Bank. We have developed a vehicle called Green Equity Investment Fund, right, to de-risk SMEs in green opportunities, in electric vehicles, in smart agriculture, in waste management, in building construction efficiency. So those are the areas which we are targeting for SMEs. So we have a fund of $40 million seed capital. At the spring meetings I was there, I did a roadshow targeting Americans and European investment funds to crowd them in, so that they can add up the fund. So we are targeting to have at least to start with a $200 million US targeting SMEs with a ticket size of around 2 to 5 million, so that we can de-risk them to invest in green opportunities in Kenya.
Because you dub it as something critical to the growth of the economy. When you assess the embracing or the take-up of the whole idea of special economic zones authority, special economic zones amongst Kenyans, do you feel like Kenyans are ready for this takeoff brought about by the Special Economic Zones Authority?
Yes, they're ready, and we mean business, and today's investment and the operationalization of that investment, it signals to the other investors that this is real, and there's something happening in Kenya, and the Special Economic Zone program, guys have figured it out, and they have started, and you either tag along or you'll be dragged along.
You tag along or
you'll be dragged along.
Interesting. I want to give you a minute and a half probably, PS, to talk about your grand plan for investment, probably in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, what the general plan is by your State Department to not just gain acceptability around the special economic zones, but to be, for the special economic zones to gain their position as should in growing Kenya's GDP.
I think our plan is very simple. We have a goal, and our goal is to increase the level of private investment into the Kenyan economy, right? Either domestic or foreign, either new investment or expansion of an existing investment. And our strategy is simple, it's threefold. We have an attraction strategy. Once you are attracted, we have a facilitation strategy through our facilitation mechanism. And once you are facilitated and you need to be enabled, we will enable you through our de-risking mechanism. And one of the de-risking mechanism is this green equity investment fund, so that we can co-invest together. We have putting our skin in the game to show that we have confidence in your investment. So it's simple. We will attract you, we will facilitate you, and we will enable you through our de-risking mechanism. Yes.
A quick one, just before we wind up.
Yes.
The area around the Naivasha Special Economic Zone.
Yes.
I think there was a call by the president in January for also investors to take up the issue of accommodation, because, for example, the auction launched today, and it begins next month. The people who will come there and probably spend a day or 2 days.
They will need
accommodation.
They will need restaurants.
So how is your department, together with other parent ministries, taking up the issue of encouraging growth around that area to accommodate the interests that are rising up?
We have put an enabling framework for that. Now, in our law, our special economic zone is divided into custom control area and non-custom control area. So non-custom is where you are not getting the tax incentives, but you are enabling that zone to mushroom. We're talking of those like the affordable housing. The housing will not be under custom control area, because it's not on the business side. So that is what we're doing. So we are attracting more investment into the non-custom to serve. Even banks will come there so that they can serve that zone under non-custom control regime. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, PS, for joining us tonight. We appreciate your presence, despite the fact that you're very tired.
You don't want me to give a parting shot?
Yeah, you can. Why not?
I just want to tell Kenyans that they should trust the president. They should trust his plan. And when a plan is being implemented, there's a process. So they should also trust the process. Yeah.
The idea is to trust the process.
Yeah. And if there's some pain in, there's no pain, no gain. But at the end of the day, things will be okay. And you can see things are opening up.
Thank you very much, PS. And by the way, PS Abubakar Hassan Abubakar is a minority.
Yes, indeed.
Appointed by President Ruto from the Bajuni in Lamu County.
Correct.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
And we appreciate your time. This is how we put a cap on Prime Edition. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Have yourself a fantastic night. God bless.
Ili kupata mto wa baraka kama sikiza tune yako, bonyeza *8